Nightcap. I'm Eddie Law, part of Cageside Press team. CagesidePress.com for all your MMA news. I haven't done one of these in a long time. I think last time I did this was like way earlier this year. So usually I do this show just like on a whim, just like screw it, it's whenever. But I figured actually plan it out today. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the MMA Nightcap. I'm Eddie Law, part of Cageside Press team. On tonight's show, Jonny Jones, man, retained his title at UFC 309 and missed calls for him to fight Tom Aspinall instead of Stipe Miocic. But now that he beat Stipe, what's next? UFC 310 goes on this weekend. Excuse me. We'll look at the card and make some picks. And then Jorge Masvidal says he's coming back in April. And he kind of leaked, I guess, a location and date-ish. Not really a date, a month. But and what the fuck is going on with PFL Tour? We got to talk about it because it's a mess. But first, it seems like, and you guys tell me, okay, because it hasn't gone well for the man. All right, and it's been vastly, very, very covered everywhere, very recently. Of course, with the type of man this guy is, incredibly captivating and popular. Connie Mack been taking mad L's lately. It was good. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. So Conor McGregor, so Conor McGregor seems to be taking more L's now. Than more L's than checks. I mean, he used to be about the money guy, the red panty guy, making money, all sorts of stuff. And he's, just taking L's left and right, coming out being found liable for sexual assault in Ireland. So if you don't know, in a civil jury case, I think a week and change ago. The case has been going for a while, but the case was decided about a week and change ago. So in a civil jury case, a woman accused McGregor of essaying her hotel room in Dublin in 2018. The High Court in Dublin ordered McGregor to pay up to around like $275,000, almost $300,000. Now that's the thing about it is, and a lot of people, immediately go to victim blame. I don't believe her. She's just about the money, and that's something we've seen with McGregor for a long time now. Where anytime he does something wrong, it's never his fault, like never ever his fault, and it's the wildest, like most childish shit you can see. You know what I mean? And it's like it's legit. Everyone treats him like the middle child. Except it's like it's like they're the middle child. So, and you know what? They might be right. Who knows? Because the level of evidence that needs to be brought forth, right, to find someone liable is much smaller or much easier to get to than a criminal case. But regardless, McGregor already said he's going to appeal the ruling and he's going to tie it up in court as long as he can. And, that's part of the course for cases like this everywhere. But he's in Dublin, so. Important to note, this is not a criminal trial. There are no charges attached to this ruling, no jail time, nothing. It's all money. So now that $300,000 is nothing for McGregor, right? These days his net worth is estimated to be around $200 million as of October. The real damage, of course, to his already, somewhat tainted reputation with all the stuff he does and the rumors and accusations left and right. And so this seems to be maybe not the final straw, but one of them. Because Proper 12 dropped him as the face of the brand. Now, if you guys remember, every single UFC event has that Proper 12, that 15-second like McGregor ad where he does the Billy walk with the two bottles in his arms or his hands. I'm very curious. I doubt we're going to see that anymore because Proper 12 removed him. It's also important to note that Conor sold a large part of the company in 2021 to Proximo Spirits for about $600 million, which makes you wonder where all that money went. I know taxes and all that, but damn, boy. From $600 million to around $200. Now, again, those net worth reports are guesses at best. Anyway, and on top of that now. Okay, let's take back here a little bit to Proper 12. Proximo Spirits made a decision to drop Conor after the court ruling. So that was a little bit unexpected, but that was a result, I think, not only of the ruling, but some grocery chains in Ireland and the UK removed anything attached to Conor McGregor has been removed. Right, from a lot of store shelves, not all of them, but a lot of them. So, and on top of that, now this suit is over. He's gonna have to pay. I mean, for now, until the appeals, get filed and they're heard, if they're heard by a court in Ireland and all that. And so that's gonna be pushed to the back burner for a while. Now, this new one, not really new, but now he's back in court. This time, it's to defend himself in another lawsuit against Artem Lobov. If you guys remember Artem Lobov, former training partner, former friend of Conor McGregor, former UFC fighter, he claims that Conor told him he'd get a share of the profits for Proper 12. And so Lobov claims it was his idea. He claims he convinced Conor to do whiskey and not vodka. And I almost said whiskey, like Russian, but whiskey and not vodka. And he promised a percentage. He was promised a percentage from McGregor, according to him, allegedly. And on top of all of that stuff, Conor ain't fighting forever. And we're at the point as fans. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. If you believe this or not, this is where I'm at. Right? But I feel like we're at a point where we don't know when he's coming back, and we're slowly starting not to care because he's been out since 21. Right, he broke his had the leg injury against Poirier and all that. He's been gone since then. All the flirting with, I'm coming back, I'm not. Takes the alleged steroid vacation. Right, comes on, supposed to come back at 303, doesn't because he hurt his pinky toe or something like that. And we're at the point where it's just like, who knows if he's going to fight? Now, I know Dana White, UFC CEO, has said he's coming back in late 2025, but come on, is he really? Like, we wonder. So, my opinion, McGregor needs to go away and do a total rebrand, like John Cena style rebrand, right? Like go from, Dr. Thugonomics to never give up type of deal. Now, I'm not saying be the golden boy, I'm saving everybody, I'm, all that sort of stuff, but like switch it back to what you used to be, at least a little bit of it, right? Like if you guys remember, like back in the day, like he came into the UFC hungry. He was touting the hunger, the training, the discipline, avoiding distractions, staying focused, speaking into things into existence, all that kind of thing, right? So much so that he had, like, seemingly, it felt like his lines were rehearsed. That's how good he was at a presser. I mean, shoot, the reason people still tune into pressers is because everyone's still hoping somebody can bring back that kind of like magic where, the shit talk comes in and it's hilarious, right? Not just, oh, you suck. Oh, no, you suck. Oh, I'm going to smash your face. Blah, blah. He brought in that, oh yeah, you're a gazelle, I'm a lion, I'm a wolf, you're a sheep, shit like that. It was funny at the time. Like we'd like to see some of that back. Now we're far removed from that, but and the man himself has said on video, I think lately, I saw it on Instagram the other day. He said on video he has to find his way back to that ultra focused McGregor and back into the cage. So, but as we all know, and the proverb is there. It's very difficult to get up at 5 a.m. to go get punched in the face or go running or do whatever, put in the work when you wake up in soak sheets. So to be seen. I guess we'll have to wait and see what old Conor McGregor decides to do. One man who we're all very, very curious to see what he's going to do is Jon Jones. Johnny Bones Jones. Is he still trolling people or is he serious? Okay. Jon Jones is coming up with TKO victory over Stipe Miocic at UFC 309. He retained his UFC heavyweight title in a fight that most of them seemed really to want. Honestly, no one really cared. Everyone wanted him to defend the title against Tom Aspinall, the interim champ, which rightfully so, they should. And Jones remained steadfast that he wanted to fight Stipe. He would fight Stipe and not Tom at Madison Square Garden. So that fight was all about legacy, right? So. Well, now that he's won the fight, he should fight Tom Aspinall, right? Next, right? Well, it remains to be seen. The heavyweight champion has been calling for a fight with UFC light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira, saying that he has more accolades than Aspinall, does more for his legacy, all kind of things like that, which is true. Let's be honest, that's true, right? With the counter argument being, well, you need to fight the interim champion. Former light heavyweight champions of the past have given you a chance. Shogun gave you a chance when you were young and he was old and he didn't have to. Or okay, fair. But shouldn't the titles be unified? We don't need two heavyweight champions. Hell, it's like having two managers at Dunder Mifflin. That didn't work out that great, right? Except for the comedy part of it. That shit was funny. Shout out to fans of The Office. So fans are going to continue to get upset when Jones, who actually recently said he wouldn't be against dropping the title in favor of super fights, but they'll still get upset for Jones at Jones for not fighting Aspinall. So, my opinion, quit getting triggered, let it go. I think Jones is negotiating through the media and social media and through interviews and through everything, right? It's this man knows the fight with Tom will be a tough challenge, so he wants to be compensated for it accordingly. He's gonna continue to brush off the calls for him to fight Tom until the UFC comes back with the right number. And trust me, they will come back with the right number, right? Dana called this the biggest fight in UFC heavyweight history. And when he says that means he saw dollar signs. That fight's coming, all right? Just stop freaking out. Relax, okay? Stop tweeting at Jon Jones like he's going to read your shit. Be like, you know what, man, you're right. I'm going to fight Tom. It's because this guy and what's his name? at 6 letters and 12 numbers MMA fan on Twitter. All right, bro. Cut it out, folks. That fight's happening. Just relax. One fight that's coming, or allegedly coming, that, again, it's one of those where it feels like no one's really asking for it, but I guess it's coming. Jorge Masvidal. Now, Jorge Masvidal went on, he was on Fight Back with Jake Shields. First of all, I didn't even know Jake Shields had a show. And this is not me shitting on him. I just didn't know he had a show, right? These days, everyone has a show. Kamaru Usman and him Cejudo have Pound for Pound. You got, the Jake Shields show. You have the Anik and the John Anik show with Ken Flo. With Ken Flo. What else is there's a Jamahal Hill has his own YouTube channel. Aljamain Sterling has his own YouTube channel. Marab Wood, if he could speak English clearly enough to like push it together. I mean, he's clear, but it's all, he's choppy. Who else? Renato Moicano has one. Gilbert Burns, I think, is with him on that. So again, everyone has a show at this point, but not, Jake Shields has one. So just real quick to touch on this, Masvidal was on Fight Back with Jake Shields recently. He revealed that at the very end of the podcast, by the way, they went through this entire podcast, and at the very end, he drops this nonchalant, like he's all like, oh yeah, that basically, yeah, I'm trying to come back in April. UFC been in Miami. First of all, it hasn't been Miami. That has not been officially, now. So either he's fishing or he knows something. But Miami's not a fight night city. Miami is a pay-per-view city. So if he's going to be on there, it'll likely be a big card. So I'm curious to see exactly if he knows what he's talking about, or if he's just, fishing, trying to get a date, trying to something, right? So I guarantee you everyone's working on it. Every journalist out there is trying to figure this one out, trying to get this what do you call it, going sooner than later. I did not realize we're not live on Instagram. Give me 1 second, folks. I messed that up. My bad, y'all. Okay, here we go. Now we'll be on Instagram here in a second. All right. Well, shit, I already went to like a quarter of the show. But anyway, let's talk about good old PFL tour. Okay. Now I put this up because this is the only graphic I have right now of any PFL related stuff, but there's a point to this. All right. So as I could go live on Instagram. All right. There we go. Cool. All right. PFL tour. PFL Championship went down this last weekend. A 36 fight card. It felt like. Started off like at 5 a.m. here locally in Arizona, and then it went on for a while. It had 6 titles on the line, $6 million on the line, and in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So, another Saudi card, great. I'm one. We all know money's being thrown around, but anyway, it's time to talk about PFL and Bellator. We have not seen a mess like this since maybe ever, right? In MMA, has there been a messier? And I know back in there, you could talk about Pride, you could talk about Strikeforce, you could talk about Affliction. Jesus, if you know about the Affliction MMA, it was something else. Affliction MMA was wild. All right, like it was back in the day when everyone try to get their what do you call it, their own promotion and all that stuff. And these days they're kind of doing the same thing, right? Everyone's kind of doing the same thing, and it's 1 second, folks. Sending a message. All right. Everyone's kind of doing the same thing. Everyone's trying to do, Masvidal has it. Nate started fight whatever, real fight, and hasn't done anything with it other than promote himself against the Jake Paul fight. But everyone's got it. So anyway, but again, if you're Affliction, if you remember Affliction, And by the way, this is really a back and forth show. If anyone watching, you guys want to throw in a comment, we'll go back and forth. I'll argue with you. I'll discuss with you, no problem. I'll put your comments on the screen. Have a lot of fun with this one while we're still on for another 20, 30 minutes. All right. So it's time to talk about Bellator for the millionth time. This is the messiest we've seen a promotion that's trying to be on the come up, right? The one that calls himself 1B to UFC's 1A, which doesn't make any sense. But here we are. This might be messier than the Oakland A's leaving Oakland for, well, they want to go to Vegas, but even they don't know they can do it. There's no plans for it just yet, as far as I've read. So they're playing Sacramento for the time being, just to get the hell out of Oakland. That's how messy this is. It's a shit show, honestly. Let's start with Bellator purchase. So Bellator had been rumored to be up for grabs for about a year and change before it was bought by PFL, right? And it wasn't even like cash with exchange. It was like stock. that was exchanged. It was a weird purchase. But the question when PFL bought it was why? What was the point? Well, the point was to bolster the roster, right? So Bellator, like PFL lacked like household names that the UFC has and has had, right? But the next best thing is what Bellator has, right? So like when the UFC, for example, when UFC picked up Eddie Alvarez and they picked up Michael Chandler, everybody, I feel like everybody, most people knew at least that they came from Bellator. They had seen a couple Bellator fights of Eddie Alvarez and a couple Bellator fights of Michael Chandler and so on and so forth. But they brought names over like the Pitbull brothers, Patricio and Patricky, Patchy Mix, Agent McKee, Johnny Evelyn, I think it's Evelyn, Johnny Evelyn, Ryan Bader, and many others. But was the purchase worth it? So roster-wise, yes, it was worth it, I think, in my opinion. Evelyn remains the undefeated, Bellator middleweight champion. He's 16-0. Patchy Mix has proven to be a pretty good bantamweight champ for Bellator. Agent McKee was a Bellator lightweight champ for a solid minute before, he lost in the rematch with Patricio, I think. Yeah. And he lost it, but he's still proven to be one of the better 155ers in the world. Cyborg's still a dominant figure in women's MMA, and we could go on and on about the roster, but now fighters are starting to talk, right? Patrick Mix kicked it off about a week or two ago, posting an X, complaining about the expressing frustration about the lack of fights, lack of clarity on the direction of the promotion, and now it's picking up, right? So now we got fighters that are like Patricia Pitbull joined in with him, Leandro Higo, Corey Anderson, and countless others spoken anonymously, by the way, expressing frustration with lack of fights, lack of clarity with the promotion, with the merger and all that, complaining about different things here and there. And they're valid complaints. There's not BS. Like, this is not one of those like, oh, well, I wanted a red Lamborghini, not a white one. It's not that kind of shit. It's legit. Like, this is what I do for a living, and I'm not even getting offered fights. What the fuck is going on? I've been asked before by PFL fighters about that, and it's just like, I want to talk to your manager. That's weird when you look into the media to see what's going on. You know what I mean? Now, with PFL, their big thing is with the tournament, the $1 million tournament. We pay everybody. You pay fighters way more than everybody else, and we offer $1 million in the tournament. You fight your way up. You get to the final. You win $1 million. Great, cool. That's a nice little deal. Not as perfect as it's not that perfect as we saw. It's not perfect at all, as we saw this last weekend. At the PFL Championships in Riyadh. Sure, PFL Tops wanted to have a tournament with the best fighter emerges on top. Great, but it seems like nobody's watching, right? And I'll get to my point here in a second. There's no way you can tell me PFL was happy that Impa Kasanganay, Brent Primus, and Brandon Lufnay lost this last weekend, right? The biggest winner coming out of the card on Friday morning for here us in the States was Dakota Sheva. She's a killer. She legit might be the face of PFL in a matter of no time, really. Like, she might even be there now. Right, she's a badass, and I honestly think she's gonna get to the UFC as fast as she can, because I think she's that good. But anyway, I'll credit the Timur and Dovle and Gazi Rabadanov. But tell me how any of those guys are marketable, right? If we're in a business where people need to know you, to watch you, to want to watch you fight, all right, you have to be marketable, and those guys are. I mean, Usman Nurmagomedov is undefeated champion. And it's hard. They have a hard time marketing him. You know what I mean? So the tournament would be fun. It was accompanied by some good matchups, honestly. But even then, it's just like some of these matchups are like wild. Like, what are we doing? Right? Matchmaking is key when it comes to selling fights, and the tournament eliminates that for the most part. In an okay way if you have the right people in there. But man, it's just it's hard to. People have said before that it's hard to watch PFL. I don't blame them. So another part of the PFL model that is confusing at best is the seemingly limited number of different leagues are created. There's PFL Africa, PFL South America, PFL Asia. Hell, there's probably going to be like PFL, Cars Land, like in Disneyland. PFL, freaking. I don't know. They're just everywhere, right? And with their own champions, their own tournaments and such. I that's what it seems like anyway. And it's all so much that I really doubt the heads of PFL could even have their own heads around it. All those leagues, including the Bellator Championship Series and all that, you just run out of space to even figure out how they're going to make it all work. There's so much going on all at once. It's confusing. It gets to the point where, there's a lack of promotion for any of them, right? Many fans had zero clue. A lot of fans had no idea PFL was happening on Friday, right? Mind you, of course, we're talking, Thanksgiving, we're talking, family time and all that, days off, vacations and everything. Great. I mean, it makes sense, but no one knew, not no one. A lot of people didn't know. Us in the media, we knew, but a lot of people didn't know that it was happening at all, much less that it was happening early in stateside, right? So people seem to be finding out about a PFL card after it's happened too. Like I had that happen where I post stuff about it and they're like, "Oh, shoot, when was this?" And it's like, "Oh, it was yesterday." Or was this? It was tonight. Like, oh, damn, I didn't even know what's going on. That's a problem. That's a massive problem, right? And all the best they can do is be like, "Oh, well, most fans are casuals. They only watch the UFC. They should watch us too." Well, they should definitely watch us and UFC. Well, tell them, dude. Tell them, genius. What the hell? That's your job, right? That's your job. And I'm talking to Don Davis. Your job is to promote. I get it. You're a businessman. You're an entrepreneur. Great. Awesome. You're also a fight promoter now. And you put yourself in that spot. You got to promote. And you're not doing it, right? The head man of this whole thing, he seems to hire. I mean, he spends more time. It seems like he spends more time hiring executives for a bunch of vague positions than he is promoting his cards and his fighters. He spends more time on outlets that are financial media entities, like Forbes. I don't even know if it was Forbes, but it was a bunch of. I saw him on like 3 different financial media outlets, and I'm like, fight fans aren't watching that, bro. How's that promotion? That's just you just kind of making yourself feel better, right? But he spends more time on those and those like MMA media, who could actually get the word out about a PFL and a Bellator card. Like, you have a straight line of Ariel Helwani, call that dude. You can talk to anybody. I'm not even saying talk to like us, right? If you don't want to talk to the little guys, fine. That's fine. No one cares. Talk to somebody and promote those cards. Do something. Throwing out Jake Paul like he's going to be some kind of draw for people to show up to watch other people fight doesn't work. Throwing Jake Paul on a commercial or on this and that, it does not work. Okay? No one cares. In fact, people hate Jake Paul at this point. Like, you got to do something different. And hell, he spends more time tweeting out a hashtag Dana scared and talking about how the UFC is scared to promote, with them to put Jon Jones against Francis Ngannou. Newsflash, pal. The reverse psychology tactic hasn't worked since 3rd grade. Okay? Tweeting at Dana, talking trash, trying to get under his skin. It won't make the UFC co-promote with the PFL. Why would the UFC help the PFL out? Right? Like, at all. The PFL continues to shoot itself in the foot over and over again. Why help him up? I don't see it. I don't see where all this poking at the UFC. Oh, well, if the ball's in their court, if they want to do it, they should step up. They're not going to, because that'd just be helping you. Literally, that would just be helping you. It has nothing to do with, Jon Jones will lose against Francis. We don't know that. I don't believe that. But we don't know that Francis beats him. Maybe, right? But it's just not going to work. Like, come on, man. What are we doing? Spend your time promoting these. I don't know. I almost wish Don Davis would step back and be the financial guy and let someone else promote. Like, Scott Coker said no. That tells you a lot, right? And for people that want to shit on Scott Coker, y'all tripping. Scott Coker was good. He was good. He just knew that taking on the UFC would be like financial, and it ended up turning into like a financial problem, basically, right? Like, they ended up having to sell Bellator. I forget who owned it before. My brain's like blanking out, but they don't want to deal with it anymore. So here's the way I see it. I want PFL Bellator product to work. Fighters need it to work. Okay, losing Bellator was tough, but losing, both Bellator and PFL would be catastrophic for fighters. Every single fighter can't be in the UFC. Media wants and needs PFL Bellator product as well. We don't want to just cover the UFC. We want to cover everything. We cover Risen, PFL, Bellator, UFC, and even the small promotions like CFFC, LFA. We just did Samurai MMA up in Alberta. So everyone tries to cover everything. We need that, but more than anything, fighters need the PFL and Bellator to work. It has to be there, right? In my opinion, there has to be a rewiring of the entire mindset and the vision of the product. You don't need 12,000 different leagues to take your product overseas. Have one promotion, PFL, Bellator, name it whatever you want, with the best of the best in the roster. Then go to Africa, go to Asia, go to South America, go wherever. Okay, but stop spreading yourself so damn thin. because you already have so many fighters on the roster that you can't give them fights, and then you're claiming you have all these different leagues, but there's no fights. How does that work, right? Be different than the UFC, but not so different that you spread yourself so thin and are relying on Saudi money to keep going. I mean, it's nice to have, but how long before the people that gave you that money start asking about the return on investment, right? I really, really hope to figure it out. We need more big promotions out there than just the UFC. I wish it was like 2 or 3 big ones. That'd be awesome to have like 2 or 3, like at least close to UFC, or at least on their way up to like a UFC size or whatever you want to call it, to give some real competitive or competition for these fighters. I mean, because fighters need fights. Fighters need more promotions. You know what I mean? Like, if PFL and Bellator go under, most of these fighters are not going to go to the UFC. They're not, right? And as much as we want to say, oh, well, it's UFC up here and everyone else down here, which is true, like the crap part is that most of those fighters aren't going to go from here up here. They're going to go here all the way down here, if they even continue fighting, right? They're going to go down to the lower leagues, and as much as you want to say, like, well, good, they're going to win some fights, whatever, maybe we make a way to TFC. Yeah, maybe. What percentage of fighters are going to be able to do that? A lot of these fighters, if not most of these fighters, have day jobs, dude. Right? And you got to think about that. This is not a lot of money in this when you're under UFC, when you're out of UFC, when you're out of PFL belt, there's not a lot of money out there, right? That's why a lot of these fighters will fight once or twice more, and then you never see them again. Just go and look at the fighters that the UFC has released, for example, and go to the records. They go down to an XFC, they go down to a CFFC, they go down to whatever, and they win one, maybe they lose one. It's like at that point, like, screw it, I gotta make money for my family. And we just had, how was his name? Who just retired, saying that they couldn't do it and they had to go make money to their family. It was that bad. Oh man, I forget the fellow's name, but I just had it in my head a little while ago. But that's a problem, right? So I really, really, really want them to figure it out. Really need them to figure it out. We need more promotions out there. There has to be a way to make a promotion fighter friendly, with pay, with treatment and all that, and yet still have a good product for the consumer that will actually consume it. I just wonder if the right people are in charge, and that'll make it happen. Take that as what you will. They'll be always calling for Don Davis to be replaced. I'm just hoping, to do the about to catch a change soon. Hope we don't be. What's up, Rick? How you been, dude? So there's that. All right. Let's talk about the monster this weekend. UFC 310. Seems like I pulled up for you guys. Honestly, awesome card to end the year with. Obviously, main event, Alexander Pantoja against Kai Sakura. Kai Sakura coming in from Risen, former bantamweight champion for them. Comes down to 125 and right into a title fight. If you've not seen Kai Sakura fight, go to YouTube and watch this man. Dude can go. Right? He can fight. Like, oh shoot, I think I lost the screen here. My bad. Kai Sakura is a bad motherfucker. Y'all need to watch that dude. Like, he's fun to watch. Mind you, I've only stayed up for a Risen card once. He was on it. It was cool. But this is going to be a competitive fight. And there's a chance he wins. And the odds are close. Oh, let's see. Minus 270 for Pantoja, plus 220 for Kai. Close enough, I guess. But the co-main event's massive. Okay. Shavkat Rahman, I was supposed to challenge Bilal Muhammad for the UFC welterweight title at this pay-per-view. Bilal gets hurt, a bone infection in his foot. And so he's out. In fact, like when he got diagnosed and whatever procedure got done on it, they told him it was like 6 weeks, like no activity. That's rough. You can't go 6 weeks with no activity and then hop on and fight. It's hard to do. So Shavkat want to stay on his card. I call for anybody. We all heard Kamaru Usman. We all heard Colby wants to fight, and clearly he doesn't. But Colby wants to fight, and we heard this, and we heard that. And the man that made the call, Ian Machado Gary. Ian Gary comes up, takes a fight. Huge fight for both men. More for Ian than Shavkat. For Shavkat is, all right, one more fight, I get paid, I become undeniable. You cannot deny me the next title shot, against Bilal. For Ian Gary, it's about stealing Shavkat's shine. Okay. If Ian Gary comes in and wins this fight, it's hard to make the argument that he shouldn't get the next title shot. Because Shavkat is that damn dominant. He's that good. Like, if Ian somehow finds a way to finish him, holy shit, the world will go upside down. It'll be crazy. And then you definitely can't, deny him a title shot. So Cyril Gane against Alexander Volkov. Again, number 2, number 3 in the heavyweight division. Everyone chasing Tom Aspinall. Even if Jon Jones is the champion, that's better. That's the way I put it. Because he already beat Cyril, and he ain't gonna fight Alexander Volkov, and not because he's ducking him. It's just there's no reason to, right? Unless Volkov does something crazy. But I think winner of this fight is gonna take on Tom Aspinall. With the caveat that of course Jon Jones doesn't come in and be like, oh fuck yeah, let's do it. Bryce Mitchell against Kron Gracie. Fun fight on the ground. I hope neither one throws any hands. Just agree to start on the ground and go, because the jiu-jitsu in this match would be fucking awesome. I can imagine Bryce Mitchell, talking about flat Earth and deep state or whatever is going on, all that stuff he goes on and on about, against Kron Gracie, who's like super chill, probably looking at him like, are you crazy? Like, that'd be a fun conversation if they did like a podcast episode together, just Kron staring at him like, oh, you're serious? Damn. All right. And of course, how can you hate this fight right here? Duo Choi against Nate Land, where someone's like, it's gonna be violence. You look at this fight, just violence. Other fights in the card: Dominic Reyes against Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith, dude, you gotta hand it to him. Still trying to get back into title contention at light heavyweight. Difficult, tall order, but not impossible. I mean, Glover was champion at 40 or 39, whatever it was. Vicente Luque against Demba Greenbo was supposed to be Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz, the sad video we watched, and a lot of people are very, very worried about Nick, and we still weren't really given the reason why he withdrew, but he withdrew, so he's out. Demba Greenbo's in. Demba called it a while ago. I think he posted the screenshot a day or two ago of his text saying like, I think I'm gonna fight December 7th. I think Vicente Luque. This dude just called his shot straight up. Worked out. And then the fight that makes no sense to me, why it's on the prelims. Like, honestly, what fight would you replace? I would replace this one. Bryce Mitchell and Kron Gracie with Evlo and Aljamain. Now, I know. Everyone's going to be like, oh, Evlo's just going to be shooting for nuts and all that sort of stuff. I believe Aljo when he says that he's going to make this an exciting fight. I do believe him. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. And then Randy Brown, Brian Battle. Brian Battle is one of my favorite / least favorite. Favorite because he's a funny guy. He's true to himself as far as we know and everything. But Brian Battle also in like media days and post-fight scrums when he wins. I'm saying over and over again. I swear, next time he does one, I'm gonna. I thought he was doing this week, so I guess maybe on Wednesday if they put him at media day, they probably won't. But if they do, we'll do that. But if he wins the fight somehow in the post-fight, I'm definitely gonna cut and do like a counter. Right on one of our Instagram reel, like type shorts, YouTube shorts, whatever type of video, with just how many times he says it, because that'd be hilarious. Chris Weidman, Eric Anders was supposed to happen, not 309 before that, I think. And Eric Anders got sick after he cut weight, so that was unfortunate. MSG at 309, yes, the MSG card. He was supposed to be there. Got sick. Both men made weight. Supposed to be there. What are you gonna do? The redo it for UFC 310 at 195-pound catch weight. Cody Durden, Joshua Van's gonna be a fucking fight. Mike Kids against Max Griffin until Max takes me. I don't know if Max takes too many risks, really. Pretty solid fight. Click Weed and Chase Hooper is gonna be wild. Like super young guys against much older guy. And then Kenny Shekchukwu against Lucas Brzezinski. Lucas lost his opponent and Kennedy stepped up. So good for him. So yeah, there you go. Anything else we got to touch on today? Let's go. Oh, UFC 310. Sorry, it's UFC 310. Gabriel Gonzalez is going to be there for Cageside Press, bringing the best and latest from Las Vegas. And let me go ahead and check out the latest headlines. Not a lot of headlines this week because there was no UFC event last week, and not a lot of people talk about the PFL. So, Kamaru Usman having a message with his fans. So a lot of fans have been giving Kamaru Usman shit for not taking the Shavkat Rakhmonov fight on short notice, right? Obviously, we saw Kamaru Usman take the fight against Hamza Chimaev on short notice and then go the distance. And so everyone thought, hey, he'll step up and do it. And he didn't take it or didn't for whatever reason it didn't happen. And they've been giving him crap like he's the one that decided not to. And he basically told fans to shut up, like on his Pound for Pound, I think, podcast. He said, quote, this is an intriguing fight. This is the fight that I was potentially going to slide into. I've touched on this a million times, which is crazy to me because I've seen people online like, oh, you scared? You ducking? You scared what? And I'm like, Usman said, I'm like, wait, what? This is the same sentiment that I feel people are doing to Jon Jones. It's just like when your fans, whether you're fans or a fighter or not, whatever, don't get their desired wish that they want. That's the fight I want. Then it's like, dude, that guy must be scared because he didn't take the fight. Like, guys, shut up. We step in there each and every time. Anyway, he goes on and on about it. He's really upset about it. He literally telling fans to shut up. He says, shut your mouth. That's how annoyed he is. It's kind of funny. It is what it is. It really is what it is. Actually, you know what? I'll do this. The other one that made me laugh, and it's Usman related for sure, is Ian Gary. Ian Gary was on Helwani's show, I think today or yesterday. I think today. And he asked him about the Usman fight because, Ian wanted to fight Usman. Ian wanted to fight Colby. So he asked me, he goes, well, what happened with the Usman fight, whatever? He goes, and Ian Gary says, Usman has a big chest and little balls. He looks good. He plays the part, but where it matters between the legs, he's a little man. Him and Colby, they're older. They've been through the division. They fought these guys. Now they're getting to the end of their careers. They want to choose the better stylistic matchups. Usman's going to try and push for a fight with Jack Della Maddalena because he's seen how easy that Gilbert Burns was able to take him down. I did take no lies. Why would Usman fight Ian Gary, who's long, who's tall, who's a good striker and all that, when he could fight a Jack Della Maddalena who can get taken down? You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense, right? But clearly this is the stuff that's pissing off Kamaru Usman. Oh yeah, this one. Choose Jim Miller. Jim Miller was talking to MMA Fighting, and they asked him about Cowboy Cerrone because, like I said earlier, the Roy's vacation, the joke I made with Conor McGregor, same thing. He goes, "Cool, I haven't had to." So again, real quick, if you haven't looked at Cowboy's social media since he retired, and the dude, like he said it himself, he's like, "I'm gonna get on the sauce," and he got on the sauce, whatever sauce that was, the TRT, hormone replacement, whatever. But he got on it, right? And you can't fight on that stuff. You don't get exemptions anymore, as far as I understand. So, but Jimmy Miller goes, quote, "I have a tough time telling a grown man what to do. Don't really believe in it, but the fact that he was very, very open with his use of performance enhancers and the way the majority of his last fights went, he got knocked out quite a few times, and that's not going to heal, and that's not healing from going on a little TRT or whatever. I'm not super into it, to be 100% honest. I'm not a very big fan of the whole steroid vacation thing. What are we doing? He's going to do what he wants to do, and it's true. Cowboy's going to, and again, I don't know why Cowboy would come back. I get he feels better now. He's on stuff and all that and everything. Like anyone that gets on testosterone replacement therapy, I think it usually takes a little bit of time, but eventually when they get to the right dosage, they feel young again. Like, oh, I could do this again. I could do that again. Hard to do that professional sport, right? I mean, you want to do TRT and get back to the rec league basketball team? Yeah, have at it. Who cares? A jiu-jitsu tournament, amateur, great. But this is different. And then this, Bisping and Jamahal. Jamal's been going out. In fact, let me pull up the other Jamal Hill ones because he's been going off. Poatan said something like, oh wait, I have that one too. 1 second, here we go. Poatan put this out. So Jamal Hill and you Prochazka are gonna fight at 311, I think, in LA. But Pereira said, "Calm down, my son. Pass this test, and that will give you a second chance." Basically, to both guys, just hilarious. And apparently, that rubbed Jamal Hill the wrong way because Jamal Hill goes, "Beat it, beat it." Funny how you rushed little ass Roundtree and dumbass Yuri like you were the man, but waited until the refs got in the way to swing at me. You will see me again at 100% soon, and we both know the fear that was in your heart. Jamal, come on, man. Look, I like Jamal Hill. I think Jamal Hill's a funny dude. Like as a person, he's a funny guy. You know, he seems like the kind of guy who was like sit around and like chill with, have a beer with, whatever. But this is not gonna happen. This is not it, bro. And again, he might just be he's not dumb, but he might be building up a fight with Pereira, a rematch. That'd be cool. This is not the way to do it. I don't think. What else we got? Aljo in the prelims. All right, I think that's gonna do it. We've been on for about 44 minutes. All right. MMA Nightcap chat is back. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. Appreciate everyone. MMA Locker Room, you're the man. Appreciate you, dog. And then Rick Allen, about to catch your chin soon, homie. Don't be scared. I don't know how you're gonna reach to the screen, dog. Just saying. Anyway, Yeah, it's gonna do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate everybody. Again, UFC 310, Gabriel Gonzalez is gonna be there all week, bringing you the greatest and the best and latest from Las Vegas. The whole team's gonna be on deck, helping out and working and everything. MMA awards also this week for sure. Thursday? I want to say Thursday. And then, yeah, two more live shows this week. Tomorrow night, Brett Cagle brings a Combat Connection. He'll be talking PFL in detail, UFC in detail. So if you want to look into those cards with some detail, tomorrow night's your time. 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, I believe. But we'll be tweeting it out like crazy. And then Friday night, the Return to Keyboard Warriors, myself, Fred Kirby. It's your Not Safe for Work MMA show. We say wild shit sometimes. It is what it is. We make fun of everything and everybody. And that's what we do. So thanks for hanging out tonight, folks. Appreciate it. We'll be doing the nightcap. I'll go back to that whole whenever, just on a whim. For the most part, we try to do it at least once a week, if not more. So just keep an eye on Twitter, at ELAW32 on Twitter, on X, whatever you want to call it. Twitter, at Cageside Press on everything. For myself, the entire team, we appreciate you guys. Good night. Catch you guys tomorrow night for Brett Cagle's Combat Connection. UFC 310 this whole week. I'm going to in Las Vegas. Catch you guys next time.